Hey guys, my name is Scoby and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you how to play Atari 5200 games on your Xbox Series S or your Xbox Series X. This is going to be a nice, quick and easy tutorial. I'm going to be showing you step by step how to do everything. Let's jump right into this. So I will mention for this video, you should already have both Dev Mode and Retroarch installed on your Xbox Series S or X. I won't be showing you that in today's video. However, I will be leaving a card on screen to my previous video where I show you step by step how to do that. Once you watch that, you can then come back over here, and then you can come back over here and I'll be showing you specifically how to play Atari 5200 games. So from this point, we are going to be needing to add some extra files to our Retroarch to be able to play 5200 games. So what we're going to need to do next is install a file browser, and I'll be showing you now how to do that and add a file browser to our Xbox Series S or X. From this point, we're going to need to load up our Xbox Series X, and we're going to need to know the IP address for the remote access on the bottom right. This is what we had to use to install Retroarch previously, but we're going to need to locate back to this website again to bring over some extra files that we're going to need to play PlayStation 1 games. From this point, we're going to be opening up our web browser and we're going to be locating to the URL that we had set previously from our Xbox. I have just logged in and I'm right here right now. So for us to bring our BIOS file to Retroarch, it is technically possible to do it from the web portal. However, I've always had a lot of issues with that, so I would recommend doing it through a file browser instead. So what we're going to be doing is installing a file browser on our Xbox through the web portal so we can actually transfer our BIOS files via the USB over to our Xbox directly. So what we're going to be doing to do this is come to this link. As always, links is in the description down below. And what we're going to be doing is downloading a File Explorer application that we're going to be installing on our Xbox dev portal. So come to this link, simply click download, and then your download will begin. Once your download is done, we're going to be coming back to our Xbox dev portal. We're going to be coming to the My Games and Apps on the home section right here. We're then going to be selecting the add button here, and we're going to be choosing our My Explorer file .appx that we just downloaded previously. Click open, select your file, select next, then select start, and then your file will start to install. Now this can take a couple of seconds before it fully installs and opens up on your Xbox, and just like that the file should be installed. So once that's installed, we will then need an external hard drive, and we're going to be needing two things for this. We're going to be needing a BIOS file for our 5200, and we're also going to be needing games. I'll be talking about the BIOS file first, and then I'll be talking about our games. So I will mention I'm not going to be showing you where to download your BIOS file or how to get one, although a quick Google search will help you out with this, or you can feel free to create a BIOS dump of your existing 5200s. For your 5200 BIOS file, it needs to be named exactly 5200.rom, and this is exactly how it needs to be named for Retroarch, and this is the exact file we're going to be bringing over there a little bit later on. The next thing we're going to be talking about is games, and at the moment I currently have my Space Invader game right here. Now thankfully in Retroarch we can play games directly from a .zip, however for me I like to extract my games, and from this point I will also mention I'm not going to be showing you how to download games either, although again a quick Google search will help you out, or you can feel free to create a dump or backup of existing games that you have. Again, I'll be leaving links in the description down below. It's not something I'm going to be showing you in today's video. If you would like to extract a .zip game, all you need to do is select your game, right click, click extract all, click extract, and then your game is going to be extracted into a .a52 file, and that's exactly what we need. So for this we can either play games directly from a .a52 in Retroarch or directly from a .zip in Retroarch, whichever you prefer. Personally I like to extract my games, although it really doesn't matter, these games are really small. From this point, we need to get an external hard drive or any sort of USB stick with both of these files on it, both the game files and the BIOS file. We're going to be heading over to Retroarch and we're going to be continuing everything from there. So once you're over on your Xbox and you've plugged in your drive, if this is your first time plugging in your drive, you might get this pop-up asking if you'd like to use it for Xbox game storage or media storage. It's really important here that you select media storage so we can add whatever files we want on here. Otherwise, if you select game storage, it will fully wipe your drive and only allow you to install Xbox games on this. So it's important that you make sure this is entered correctly. So from this point, once you're over on your Xbox and you have dev mode opened up, we're going to be launching our My Files Explorer application right here. And from this point, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be transferring our 5200 BIOS file to our Retroarch folder. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is using our left thumbstick. We're going to be coming up to the top left, and we're going to be clicking the A button under removable storage. And here we're going to have to locate to where our BIOS file for the 5200 is. So for me, I currently have my 5200.rom file here, and this is exactly what we need. What we're going to have to do from this point is copy this file. To do this, all we need to do is hover over it with our thumbstick. We need to click the start button and we're going to be clicking copy file. To do this, what we can do is come over here to the left to this device. We're going to be clicking on isolated storage, hover over it and click A. Our isolated storage will then be selected. From this point, we're going to be inside our folder for our My Files Explorer application. However, what we're going to be doing is coming to the URL path up here. We're going to be clicking A on packages, and then we're going to be looking for the folder that starts with 1E4C. This is going to be our Retroarch folder. We're going to hover over this, click A. We're then going to be going to local state. We're then going to be scrolling down in this folder. You can do this by using your right thumbstick and pointing down. We're then going to be looking for the system folder, and here's where we can paste all of our BIOS files. So to do this, what we're going to simply do here is right click. We're going to be clicking paste, and our 5200 BIOS file is now on our Xbox. From this point, we can back out of here and we can load up Retroarch. Once we open up Retroarch, we'll be brought to the main menu right here, and the first thing we're going to be doing is loading up a core. To do this, we simply need to hover over load core. We need to click the A button, and here we're going to have to scroll down until we see Atari 5200. And here we'll see Atari 5200, or in brackets Atari 800. All we need to do is come over this, click the A button to select it. Our core will now be loaded. From this point, we're going to be staying on our main menu here. We're going to be clicking down one to the load content option. We're going to be clicking A to open this up. And here we're going to have to locate to where our games are currently downloaded. So for me, I currently have them on my external E drive, which I have right here. Again, I'm going to be clicking the A button to open this up. And then we're going to have to locate to where our games are currently downloaded. So for me, I currently have my spaceinvaders.a52 file right here. What you can do is simply click A to open this up again, and it'll take a couple seconds. Your screen will go black, and then your game will eventually load up and start to play. So from this point, when you try to load up your game for the very first time, you might get this information on screen. Don't worry, you can really easily fix this. This is meant to happen. How we can change this is by opening up our Retroarch menu. Again, you'll have to enter the combination that you have entered previously. For me, it's down and select. Once we have this opened up, we're going to be scrolling down to the option settings right here, which is going to be for our core specific options. We're going to be coming down here. Once we come here, we're going to be looking for the second option here, which is Atari System. And by default, it's going to be set to the 400/800 and OSB. What we can do is click the A button here, and we're going to be selecting 5200, which is what we need. And once we select this, we will see instantly in the background our game will start to load correctly. Now, while we have video in the background, we're still not 100% ready to actually fully play this yet. We do need to change one more thing to actually be able to control and play our game. We need to back out of here. We're going to be coming down a little bit further in our Retroarch menu to controls. We're going to be coming down to the port 1 controls, and we're going to be changing this device type from RetroPad to Atari joystick. You can use this by using the left and right arrow on your controller. Sadly, you can't use the A button to open this up. And now you should be able to fully see and be able to move and control your Atari games on your Xbox Series S and your Xbox Series X. And just like that, we have set up and we can now play 5200 games on our Xbox Series S or our Xbox Series X. Now, thankfully, this is a really old console, so everything runs really, really well here. And the emulation overall on the Xbox is really good, so I don't have too much to say about this. Again, however, if you would like to change some settings, we're going to be opening up our menu again with down and select. And here we'll have all of our default Retroarch settings. However, we come down a little bit further here to the options specifically. We can get a couple of core specific options that we can use for our 5200. So again, it is important to make sure that you have Atari system to set up to 5200, otherwise your game will not load. You can come down a little bit further then again to change the video standard from NTSC or PAL. Again, I left it by NTSC by default and I didn't have any issues with that, but you may have to change back and forth between PAL and NTSC if you're having some specific errors in some games. You can set up here a little bit further the internal resolution, so by default it's 336 by 240. However, you can go all the way up to 400 by 300, so if you want to play around with this, you can as well. And you have a couple of other things here you can also play around with. For me, I didn't need to play around with any of these things. However, you can feel free to take a look at these if you're having some issues with some games or you're doing some specific things that might be worth taking a look at. But overall, my experience with this emulator has been pretty good. The last thing I'd recommend doing is creating a game playlist for your 5200 games. You can see here an example on screen to a previous one that I made for my SNES. It basically concatenates all of your games into one area so you can really easily find them, but it also gives you these nice icons next to them so you can really easily locate to them, and it just makes the overall Retroarch experience a little bit better. I'm not going to be showing you how to do that in today's video. However, I'll be leaving a card on screen to my previous video where I'll show you step by step how to do that. It's super easy to do, and it's definitely something I'd recommend if you're going to be using Retroarch with a lot of consoles. Anyway guys, it's as easy as that to play Atari 5200 games on your Xbox Series S or your Xbox Series X. If you guys enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to drop a like. Subscribe if you're new, check out the other videos on the channel. I'm going to be leaving a link down below to my PayPal if you found these videos helpful and you want to support me. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, as always, keep it saucy. Peace.